Hey everyone, welcome back to the Katybrook LLC channel with Caroline Ye. So, when I initially decided that I wanted to share my journey with all of you, I thought that I would update on a weekly basis, make one video a week, post it, and get it all done. It'd be great. So, the first thing I learned is that editing takes a really long time, and that has been my roadblock, which is why I haven't posted any updates. So I did post several videos that were interviews with my friends. That actually took me quite a while to learn how to edit, but they are up and you are welcome to watch them. And so this is my first weekly update. I've also been experimenting with different methods of editing and video. And the video you're about to watch, I decided to try out voiceover, and it took me 8 hours to edit this. So, needless to say, this is not a method that I will be trying again, but hopefully, I will get better at making videos. I will get faster at editing, and I will try to get these updates online once a week. Keep your fingers crossed. So, hope you enjoy the next video. Thanks a lot. The first thing that a lot of people do when they start thinking about buying a business is they go to a listing website and they start looking for a business to buy. An example of this website would be bizbuysell.com. But what I wanted to do before I jumped into it was to figure out if this venture was even something I really wanted to do. So before I started my search for business, I did some reading. My friend Tootie, who actually interviews me in one of the videos I've posted, gave me this book from Harvard Business Review, and I found it incredibly helpful. It's like a step-by-step guide to understanding the whole process of entrepreneurship through acquisition. So after reading that, I had a pretty good idea of what it would take, and I decided that yes, this is something that I really want to do. So after deciding that I'd like to buy a business, I started talking to people about what I was up to, and I knew that there were several things I wanted to accomplish. First of all, I knew I wanted to buy a small to medium-sized business, cash flow positive, and profitable. I also knew that this would probably be in a boring industry, and I was totally on board with that. The other thing I also knew is that I wanted to document this process and share it. And here's why. If you haven't watched my earlier videos, then you don't know that I am pretty annoyed that I went to a top business school and no one ever talked to me about buying a business. On top of that, as I talked to my fellow classmates, it turns out that almost no one had considered this as a path to entrepreneurship. So the first thing I wanted to do was document this journey so that other people could understand what I was doing, why I was doing it, and how they could also use this as a path for entrepreneurship through acquisition. The second reason that I want to document this entire process is I am a woman of color. And having worked in the business world for 2 decades, you might know that as a woman of color, we do not get the most advantages when it comes to business opportunities, particularly when it comes to leadership positions and ownership of businesses. So the other reason that I wanted to share my story was because I want other women to understand that they too can do it. They can take control of their lives and they can take control of their schedules and not be tied to a 40+ hour work week with a job they don't necessarily love. This is an update on what I got done during week 1. So, what did I do? Number 1 is running a search requires you to have an LLC. Now, an LLC is something that is pretty easy to form. You can do it yourself by going to the Secretary of State website, or you can use a website that helps you do it. For example, I've used nolo.com. The good thing is that I already had an LLC set up. So after I left my job at Kiva in 2020, I didn't have another job lined up afterwards. So what I did is I formed an LLC, registered it in California, and what I decided was that I could use this LLC to do business consulting while I figured out my next steps. By the way, I 100% named Katybrook after my dogs, Katie and Brooklyn. As I mentioned, I set up this LLC in order to run my consulting business. However, I never actually got to use it. because after about 6 weeks, I ended up as CEO of Sumo Snacks. So I just had this kind of formed LLC sitting around, which I didn't use for over 3 years. That's why when I decided to go through the process of acquiring my own business, I already had an entity to do that through, and that is Katybrook LLC. Again, it's pretty easy to set up your own LLC. If I could do it again, and this is what I plan on doing in the future, I would actually register the business in Nevada because it's a much more business-friendly climate. But really, you can establish an LLC anywhere you want. So week one, having my LLC established, I went and claimed the pages for Katybrook LLC on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube because I knew these were the methods I wanted to use to get out updates to all of you and messages. I also secured a website. You can take a look at my website at katybrooklllc.com. The reason why I set up a super simple website is because I wanted brokers, bankers, and other people looking at my business to take me seriously. And you can't have a business these days without having a website. I wanted to ensure that these people knew that I was serious about acquiring a business. So I went over to WordPress, I set up my website, and I used one of their very simple templates. As you can see, my website is super simple. It's not much to look at, but as more people follow me and want more information, I will actually work on improving the website, and I'll post resources there for all of you as I run my search. I also don't update my website that often. So for the most recent information, please go and check out my LinkedIn, Katybrook LLC, because that is where I'll be posting updates. And also, please follow our YouTube channel because I am also posting all these videos on YouTube. Hopefully, again, I will try to get to one every week, highly dependent upon my editing ability. So that's it for week one, and I look forward to talking to you guys for week two.